In a crazy turn of events, we've actually got some good news on the injury front coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, I wanted to wish everybody a very happy week 0. College football season's here. And though the Oklahoma Sooners don't play in week 0, it's officially college football season. And the Oklahoma Sooners are actually trending towards some positive news on the injury front, coming out of last weekend's practices and scrimmages. Things are trending in a really good direction for Oklahoma, Jay.
Yeah, it is. And it sounds like they did the alumni, I guess you could say, quote unquote, another scrimmage this weekend. They had the alumni together. If you look at OU's social media accounts, the OU football stuff, you can see the pictures with like Barry Switz. That's Rocky Bright there. Dr. Rocky Bright, my apologies. Got to respect the man and his title. But you've got a lot of good stuff, a good fellowshipping and brotherhood getting together. And, you know, I think Mark Clayton had tweeted out, it's like it's really a brotherhood, being able to come back and be together and see each other. Everybody feels like family. So I'm pretty excited. I'm excited and happy that we do that every year. And so scrimmage note wise, we've got to talk about what went down. About nothing. It was basically a glorified, like a few things of one-on-one, very light, not much, more so situational stuff. And it's getting to the point now, John, that we are 100% in game prep week mode, and I am so excited about it.
Yeah, on the positive injury notes, like Jacob Sexton, Derek Simmons, the offensive tackles, guys that have been projected to start for Oklahoma at offensive tackle who have been battling some concussions, they're expected to be back in the practice lineup this week. And I think that's really good news. We'll see how much they do, if they'll be fully engaged in team or if they'll just go through individual drills with their position groups. That'll be interesting to see. Jaden Ott was back out on the practice field, and that's encouraging as well. Wasn't a full participant, but was involved in individual drills. Again, he's not somebody that you need to worry about getting out there for full practice reps. Again, that's created great opportunity for guys like Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson. From everything I've heard, he was back out at practice too. And so that's a really positive sign for the second-year running back for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what you need. You got all the people that we said were going to be back from practice, basically back. I mean, the only ones you really haven't heard much on is Eli Bowen, Giovanni, and Jaden Gibson. Giovanni is... And Grayson Halton, I think Grayson Halton's ready to go. He'll be ready to play week 1 if they need him week 1. I mean, if you truly think about it, Illinois State, we got to respect Illinois State, though. They're number 6 in the FCS top 25. So they are a respectable team that will probably lose by 40, but we will respect them and us covering the spread at 35 and a half. Shout out FanDuel. But at this point, though, truth be told, You don't expect most of these players to need to play the week 1. You're trying to get people past Labor Day into the Michigan game, and Giovanni sounds like he's probably teetering closer to that game, John. That to me is huge. Nothing on Jaden Gibson, just his timeline is still his timeline, and that timeline is that timeline. So we're just gonna forget that timeline even exists, and just if he shows up, it's icing on the cake. But everybody and Eli Bowen is probably close to the SEC play. So all the injuries that we know and have heard of, for the most part, besides the bigger ones with Eli and the Gibson boys, seems like everybody's back and they're moving around and they're getting themselves ready for the season.
It seems like the coaching staff has done a pretty good job this fall camp of balancing, hey, we're going to practice physical because you can't be physical unless you practice physically. Right. But also taking care of their players too, and making sure that, okay, if somebody gets dinged up, let's let them rest. We're not going to force them back out there or push them back out there, or we're not going to let themselves push themselves back out there. Sometimes you got to keep a player from being their own worst enemy sometimes.
Yeah, save them from themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So, it seems like they've had, obviously the week 2 Michigan game on their mind, but also SEC play. Like, you don't need to peak your team right now. You have to have your team certainly ready to go in week 2, but that isn't necessarily even going to be the best version of Oklahoma football. You want them trending in a positive direction and getting better as you get ready to host Auburn and then get ready to go to the Red River Showdown a few weeks after that. So things are, man, I know it's been an optimistic offseason from us here on Locked On Sooners, but it's hard not to find reasons why to be optimistic. Everything that we're hearing is like, even the offensive line, people aren't really that concerned about the offensive line. Even if you're without Derek Simmons and you're without Jacob Sexton. Okay, if you're without Jacob Sexton, who are you starting at left tackle? Your 5-star true freshman, Michael Fasusi.
That's been getting praised like crazy. Now, granted, I don't like playing true freshmen in positions like that. I'm always going to be terrified about that until they prove me wrong. And Eli Bowen was one of them that proved me wrong. So I can't be mad at the fact that he went out there. Same thing with Jaden Jackson. They both proved me wrong. I am going to always accept I am wrong about if a freshman goes out and plays good. I still generally do not like playing freshmen. But if Fasusi goes out there and throws people around, can't be mad. I mean, I think Michigan's going to have to start Andrew Babalola, the other 5-star tackle that we were going after, on top of Fasusi and Fogier. And there you go. David Sanders Jr. is going to be starting for Tennessee at right tackle. So, I mean, Colorado started Jordan Seaton. So it's not uncommon, you know.
Yeah, if you're ready, you're ready.
You're ready. And if you can hold your own, we'll take it. Yeah. But again, I don't like it. But at the same time, hey, he proved me wrong. So, yeah, I'm not as concerned about the line. I can't wait to break that one down fully and go through the players and who's there. Mainly because in my eyes, you've got 10 players you can guarantee you'll feel comfortable being on the field this year. Last year, you had about 5 healthy ones, that is. I'm talking about not healthy ones. If the entire line was healthy, you had maybe 7. This year, you've got 10. Actually, you probably got 12 that you're okay with putting out there because you've actually seen them play in games and you've seen them go against teams. The Alabama game, I'm always mention that. Auburn, we did well. Missouri, we did well. We were healthy, and now we did well against LSU as well. You saw when they're healthy, they're solid. That's what's most important. You just need a healthy version of it. But we've got at least 12 players that you're like, okay, we can interchange tackles. We can interchange guards. Heck, I think we can interchange centers too. Like, I don't even talk much about Baklinko or Michaela, but I think that they, with the starting experience they have at Stanford, I think we're good. The snap counts is going to save us more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think that's much of a stretch to say you feel much better about the offensive line this year because of the 12 guys that you could play. I mean, if you just rattle it off, it sounds kind of crazy, but you're going to include 2 true freshmen in that group. They haven't played any collegiate snaps, but they're 2 players that have been receiving a ton of praise all offseason, whether it's spring ball or now, and from people who you all would respect their voices, like a Gabe Eichert and a Teddy Lehman, who have been out there and they've been singing the praises of these 2 true freshmen. And similar to what we were hearing from them or others on a guy like Jaden Jackson last year, you know? And so it wouldn't shock me to see those guys play, but you talked about it. Troy Everett, Jake Michael at center. You've got a group of 4 guards with EPL, Hitho Zaida, Fabechi Wiwu, and Ryan Fogier at guard. You've got offensive tackles like Jacob Sexton, Derek Simmons, Michael Fasusi, Jake Taylor, Logan Howland, Luke Baklenko. I mean, that's 6. I mean, you're right there. That's 12.
That's 12.
That's 12.
That's
and so
12.
And while most people might be thinking of Logan Howland from the Ole Miss game, he's not going to be the same player right now that he was this time a year ago because he's developed, because it's a developmental game. And as you know, we've talked a lot about offensive line. We'll talk more about it later this week. We'll talk cornerback as well later this week. But that's another position that even though Eli Bowen has been out, everything that's coming out of camp is really, really positive about guys like Devon Jordan, Cortland Guillory, Jeremiah Newcomb. You know, obviously Gentry Williams is everybody's expecting big things from him. Jacoby Johnson. There's a good group of corners, so you don't feel as dire without Eli Bowen. So like, even though you do have injuries, Grayson Halton, another one. You feel great about the defensive tackle group. You've got injuries. You feel great about the depth. And that's a really positive place to be in right now. And again, you're trending in a positive direction with some of those guys that are out. They should be back at some point for 2025. Josh Pate, he loves John Mateer. He can't get enough John Mateer. But how much does he love John Mateer? We'll discuss coming up here on Locked On.